Thank you. So hi everyone. Wow, quite many people. I'm already nervous for a few days, but so I try to do my best. Today I want to do really something different. So it's about an honest story about how we actually as a brand management company try to evolve our own brand. So as you know, it's sometimes hard to eat your own dog food, or how you say. So want to show you more about that. So I'm Roger. I'm coming straight from Switzerland, St. Gallen. So if you've been there, it's a nice little city next to Germany. And especially in wintertime, it's a great place to be, with a lot of mountains and lakes and everything. It's quite a nice place. I'm working together with these fine people, and these are just some of them. And I founded a company called Frontify like 6 years ago. And it's a company that really tries to focus on brand management. So we're building software. So we're trying to help companies and brands to evolve, to help you, manage your brand well. So that's what we do, but this talk is actually not really about a product. So it's more about our own journey. So we'll be around if you're more into this, product. So if you want to learn more there, that's fine as well. In the end, our goal is to make strong brands, even if you're already strong or if you want to become a strong brand. And that's taking a lot, as you know. It's not easy to build a company. It's not easy to grow a company. There's so much it takes to get there. When I started off in 2013, I was alone. I started off doing stuff, building a product, trying to sell stuff, doing marketing, on a very basic level. I'm actually a developer, so I'm not into these things really. I learned a lot of it during that time. But we now have 85 people. So as you can imagine, this is quite a journey. And this has a lot of challenges along the journey. And I want to tell you more about this. We're not like a tiny startup that does some fancy stuff which nobody cares. So we're working with tons of big clients all over the world to help them grow their brands. A good example is Lufthansa, who are using it with thousands of people in their organization, working together with 35 agencies, keeping their brand consistent in the end. But what about our own brand story? In the beginning, if you start a company, you might ask yourself, do we really have a brand already? What is a brand? In my understanding of a brand, I would probably have answered this question with no. Because in my opinion, a brand is something, strong, consistent, it, and so on. But actually, it might be a little different, because if you do your first activity, you already have a brand. So if I'm going into the stage and I'm telling you, hi, I'm Roger, I'm already doing some kind of branding. So I'm already giving you an impression of how and who we are. So I'm not doing this only at the stage, but also when I started off, I talked to clients in a way that was very personal. So I'm not saying like, dear Mr. Swiss, I'm gonna sell you brand management software. So I'm trying to always get into a personal level and an authentic feeling for them so they can be very close to us. Also, as an example, this is the logo of the Swiss National Railways. And when I went to them and do a company presentation, I actually drew the logo of them by hand before the presentation, and I put it on the title slide. I did that for around 40 presentations. Why should I do that? I could have put the logo of them onto the title slide. But that's giving already, it makes you special a bit. So it gives them an idea of, we care. It's not just a random presentation I copy over and over again. It makes you different, it makes you unique, and it helps you build an identity. Also, this was the second slide, was also a drawing of, some random stuff, which gave quite a bit of a joyful feeling when they looked at us. Already these first little things start building your brand. So you get to the point where you eventually win some clients that want to work with your product. But what about identity? Is this enough to have an identity? If you draw a few sketches, if you have some clients, probably not. Brand is a little bit more than that. This, I would say, is kind of the journey as I saw it when I started off. It's kind of, when you build a company, I don't know how many of you have tried, but in the beginning it looks like this. It's kind of a roller coaster. Things go wrong, things go well the other day, things go wrong again. So what you do is you don't look at that point here. So you miss out on the North Star you want to actually reach. It's more about, operations. You're into these things, you not need to win the next client, and so on. You need to improve the product, but you're missing out on the actual vision. So what it says is, that's not an accident. It's actually really that your vision is still blurry. It's not sure yet where you want to go. You might change your path throughout the years. Who knows what your actual product market fit and your successful product will be. So it's unclear. You cannot really work with your vision, and you can also not work with your mission to really define yourself, because that might change in a second, that might change in a year. But what you can do is, you can work with people. So the people that are working for you, the people that you convinced about how you want to build a company, they are actually ones that build your identity. They are the ones that give you a personality. It's their values and their personality that builds your identity. Are you the humble people and the funny ones? Are you more the aggressive and the asshole troop, whatever? So this is defining your identity in the early days. So it took us around 3 years to reach 10 people. So that's a tough time, right? To reach that phase. Then it took us another year to reach 30 people, and another year to then reach these 85. The identity is important because you're actually hiring people. You're getting some people on board for your journey. They need to be compatible to what you feel, what your people have in terms of personality. You cannot, if you're a humble company who cares about what you sell, you cannot hire that sales hunter guy that sells basically everything, which is not here. So you need to hire people that are really you. Every single person that you're hiring is adding more and more and strengthening your identity and your brand. That's really crucial. But also to sell, you're sending these people out. They will be, the front window of your brand, of your company. So if they act differently than how and who you are, they destroy your brand. That's a big, big problem. And we should care about this. So it starts to become tricky. So you're adding more people, you're having more material. In the beginning, you probably don't have a marketing team, right? We now have a marketing team of 10. So it kind of starts to grow. You start to create more content. You have more touch points. It becomes a problem if you don't have a clear identity. Everyone is understanding and it's written down. So we're having these more inconsistencies, which is a big, big issue that you see with mostly every brand. In our case, if you look at this example, this might not be like, it's not completely wrong from a visual perspective. So we're seeing maybe here we use the gradients and here we use solid colors. We use this image there to have a customer showcase thing and then used another one. That's fine. That's evolving your visual identity as well. But if you grow and you reach a certain level, and if you want to go further, you need to make sure that this is more aligned in general. So yeah, that's sad because, if you're doing brand management software, we probably should also have a strong brand, right? So nobody cares if we're, doing wrong. So what we said is, we want to become a strong brand as well, but why do we want to become a strong brand? Because strong brands are successful. That's what everybody says, right? But what means strong? I mean, I asked myself this question many times, but I really found the answer of it when going a little bit deeper into psychology. So it's actually about how we as people work. It's how actually we do buying decisions. And that's why strong brands really perform well. So what's happening is, when we go to a store and we do a buying decision, there's some things that happen in our brain which are always the same. So looking at this example here, it's a very bad picture, I know, but that's actually chocolate. I think it's a lot of Swiss chocolate in it. And what the brain does, it has two systems that it works with. The first system is the implicit system, meaning if you look at something like that, the brain will implicitly tell you, well, I know this brand, I know what it is, I just buy it, right? It's not a crucial decision for my life. I just go for it. And below 1 second, I'm gonna decide I just take that chocolate, right? So that's what strong brands do. Because if you look at that, it's all chocolate, right? So if we can't decide because we know something, the brain has to go to a second stage where it needs much more energy and it's much less rewarding, and it stresses you out, that you have to actually look at attributes and you have to compare. In that case of chocolate, it's especially interesting because you can take that chocolate, you can turn it around, and you look at the ingredients. They are all the same, most likely. So what it does is, it's only about branding. It's only branding, it's marketing, it's what you do all day. It's about teaching, it's about getting awareness that this is the right choice. So in conclusion, well, this is Apple. They have to be inside the branding presentation all the time, so no worries about that. In conclusion, strong brands help people. They help people to make decisions easier and less exhausting. That's the reason why we need strong brands. But back to our story. So we need to level up. We need to get that next stage. So we hired these fancy guys here. They're quite funny. They don't look like it, but... So we thought like, yeah, I mean, we're doing brand management, but there's people that know more about this than ourselves. We know a lot. We can build nice software, but probably need some help. So we sit together at our ping pong table, and we did a little workshop where we talked about what we're doing well and what we don't do well. So we found out that we actually like how we are. We liked our identity. We liked the people that work for the company. It's all fine. But we now have to define what it is that makes us special. What is it that makes us a home? What is it that makes us a great company? To find that out, we ask ourselves the question of who we are. So we did a few exercises. One exercise was that we sent out these papers with a number of words on it. So we gave it to the people. They just have to choose 5 words out of this 100. And what it does is, it gives you an impression of what people think they identify with Frontify the most. So if you do that with a number of people, you'll learn a lot about their ideas. In addition, we did a little survey with images. So we showed them triples of images for certain topics, and they could kind of choose which one identifies our company the most. But it's actually not about which image then they actually choose. That's not very relevant. So that was one example of coffee. That's the one you're going to buy there. It's less that if you choose this or this is right or wrong or whatever. So we said we need to record what people are saying. Why are they choosing this or this or this? Because you can have a certain perspective on things, and you need to learn what people are thinking. Why are they choosing this? Is it just because it's an aesthetic picture? Or is it because they see quality in it? Or is it because they see taste in it? Whatever. In our case, many have chosen this one. It's also important that you don't look only at yourself from an inside perspective. So if you only look at yourself, you don't know, maybe clients see yourself completely different. So you have to ask yourself, one, how do you think you see your clients see yourself? And second, ask clients how they see yourself. There might be a difference, right? So you need to make sure that you at least understand that difference. It doesn't mean that it has to be congruent or whatever, but you need to understand it to make better marketing as well. What we did out of this exercise is we took these words, we built like clusters, so we kind of combined few words which mean the same thing, and this then eventually leads to an identity that you can write down. It's a few words, it's like a few values that, especially from an inside perspective, make yourself a great company. And it's about personality as well. So what makes your people special? In our case, since we feel culture and people, this is like key in our case. We're not like a sales company or something, just gonna run and sell a product and just make a lot of money. So it's really about a great workplace. So in our case, we communicate a lot on a personality level. So we try to focus on communicating in a way that relates to our personality. In another case, in your company, for example, it could also be your values that you push out more. Maybe you're an environmental company that kind of, puts a focus on that. So you might communicate that a little bit more. So it's a choice and it's very, very individual. So it's time to adapt visual identity as well. So if you know how and who you are, you can start working on your identity as well. Because these signals, the visual signals are the most important tool you have when people do buying decisions. It's maybe the first thing they see. So it's really important that it reflects your identity as well. We looked at the logo. We thought like, should we change it maybe, whatever. So when asking people internally, they were saying like, hey, we actually like these colors, they identify with us. So we could have, they are replaceable. There's many other companies who have these colors as well. But actually our people care. They said like, this is relevant for us, so let's keep that. So we said like, we just keep the logo. We changed colors a bit, so this is a new color palette we're using. We chose a new font, which is very, certain reasons behind it. So to also not distract too much from our clients' identities. So it's quite neutral. We worked on a new kind of illustration style, which kind of brought in a few of the key elements that make our identity, especially human, for example, but also this kind of city theme that makes it more vibrant. A few of the materials we did, like for print. Also, you can see this joyful thing in it, maybe, a little bit of humanness. And also from the website perspective, we're doing a few things. By the way, it's not live yet, so it's like pretty new stuff, no one saw it before. But interestingly, every touch point counts, you know that. You're marketing people, you know that better than me. But what I wanted to tell is like highlight a few examples. This is our new business card. And I think this is like the old business card that we have. This is the new business card we have. It's just a business card, right? It will not bring you more revenue probably. But it's one touch point that makes your identity. It's something you give someone and someone can feel, is this Frontify or is it not? This one, for example, you can touch it, is like a little bit of a glossy paper. It's kind of has an artificial feeling. And this new one is a more natural, kind of rough paper. This one has the full name written on it, and this one has only the first name written on it. And it shows like a hobby of the different people. So if you look at all the business cards here, it kind of highlights personality, gives you somehow, it's not like random stuff. It's just like, a story that's behind every single person that's working for that company. In addition, you can do things like that. These are new floor signage. And also here, if people enter the office, they should feel that this is this company. So it should be joyful, it should be, still serious somehow, and should match the brand. That's actually what people really like. Another example here for our, entertainment floor. And another one here, that's when it goes up, it kind of is like pushing it up. But then you might remember these times where you hired an agency that built your identity, and then you got it like this huge package, and then said like, yes, we did it, let's move forward with operations, right? So, but that's not doing it. So it's about making this thing living. People need to understand what you did. It's not enough if the people like the CEO and the CMO and whatever, they sit together with the agency, they build this identity, and now it's a paper or book like lying around somewhere. It's not helping anyone. So it needs to be implemented every day. So what we did is like a poster that we hung up like on the walls throughout the office. So everyone can remember whenever he or she does something, whether it's doing support and having a phone call with someone, or making a design, or building the product, all can take advantage of knowing who we are and how we are. You also can try different things like having beer that you spread over the place that kind of highlights a few of these elements of the identity. So everyone is remembered all the time about what you're doing. Also the mission, everyone should know the mission of the company. In our case, it's about that we want to enable anyone at the company to create compelling and consistent brand experiences. You should go to your company and ask every single person in the room, what is the mission of the company? Most likely many don't know. So that's something we can work on to really make sure the identity is not just something in the cloud that is there and which is nice, but it's living and it's there and people care. Obviously, we're using our own product to kind of document everything and making a single source of truth for all the assets and everything that is part of the identity. All the resources like logos, colors, fonts, the media library, like all the photography, all the icons that you're using, all the tone of voice guidelines, everything that makes your identity and helps people to create on-brand content is great. But it doesn't stop here. So we thought like, okay, how can we be different again? I mean, everyone would probably stop here. But what can we do that goes even further? So in our case, this was something called the audio identity. When I first heard about the topic, it was like, oh, a jingle, nice. Let's do a jingle. Then we have a jingle, right? We can animate the logo and we have a jingle, that's great. Who cares? No, you should care. But it's way more behind the topic. It's super interesting, I can say. We hired this guy, it's Karsten from Denmark. Is a very talented guy who is a pro in audio identity. He came to us and did a workshop with us, explaining us what an audio identity is, but also how can we build our own. As you know and as you heard, visuals are like, even they are the most important piece, right? So, but also you can think of other things that can help you strengthen your brand. In that case, audio. I mean, it's something that can be equally valuable to create brand perception nicely. If you're thinking about what you're producing every day, it's probably a lot of videos in today's world, right? What kind of sound do you put on your videos? Is it maybe a stock track somewhere? It's cool, it's okay. But it's another way of where you can communicate your identity. So how we did it is like we took words out of the identity, out of the communication material, out of what we saw, how we communicate, and then we tried to identify the ones that actually are not very convertible to audio. So there is words that cannot be, it's not like a very aggressive kind of instrument, whatever. So things like respect or dependable, collaboration, super hard to convert into audio. So that might not be the right words to focus on. Second, we thought like we need to have less words. So to create audio, you need to focus on a number of words, let's say 5, that can then actually be translated into audio. In our case, these were human, modern, inspiring, simplifying, creative, and human. And now if it works with the technology, I can play a few examples. So the first example is just a random one. Is this us? Probably not. I mean, it's very futuristic. You can find other words for it. But it would be a valid sound to put on a video. Why not? Okay, that's also not us, maybe. So it's actually not finished, I have to say, and probably the sound guy is not happy that I'm showing it now, but it's going to be finished in a few. So, but that's actually how we sound. So, if it works, you might find some of the words in it. And it's again another way of showing how we are. So is Frontify grown up now? Mostly. So we did a lot. So we learned a lot along the way. And I think we have the foundation of becoming a strong brand. Really. I mean, we're young, so we still have a long journey in front of us. But we understood how important it is to build a strong brand and what it takes and what the way is to go there. So I think I could have shown you a few, I've showed you a few of the insights that we kind of learned along the way. I hope it was entertaining and a bit of a few insights. So I want to highlight some of my colleagues that are here. It's Oliver somewhere over there. Alba and Michael. So we will be around today and tomorrow if you want to learn more about the project. Also, if you want to learn more about our product, obviously. So feel free to have a chat with us. They also have chocolate, I heard. Swiss one. So feel free to go there. I hope you enjoyed the conference, and thank you for listening.